2018 Mercedes-Benz G-Class SUV Review. The good points of Mercedes-Benz G-Class SUV. Go anywhere off-road ability. Good drive and automobile on-road too. Indestructible quality. Generous equipment spec. The bad points of Mercedes-Benz G-Class SUV. Very expensive. Only 585 horsepower AMG for the moment. Profligate running costs. A little ostentatious. The Mercedes-Benz G-Class could be the toughest, muddiest Merc you should buy today. It's a suitable 4x4 on the old school, as capable dirt as anything from Land Rover or Jeep, though the new model launching in summer 2018 adds a welcome amount of polish to restore more viable like a daily driver on road too. Mercedes-Benz G-Class cars available. Don't mistake this for the lifestyle crossover. The latest Mercedes G-Class, sometimes often known as the G-Wagen, is definitely an altogether much more serious off-roader and comes with some proper muddy scrambling hardware to start. The trio of go-anywhere differential locks for better traction, low-range transfer gearbox for scaling one-to-one mountains and separate ladder frame chassis a tougher foundation for off-roading are typical indications it is no mere posing machine. Sadly, all of that technical complication means it's a really expensive car. The G63 AMG driven here may be the only model offered at launch inside UK and expenses are now altering £143,000. The UK distributor is considering adding the cheaper G500 non-EMG model from now on, as well as a less profligate diesel G-Class is confirmed for UK sale in summer 2019. Until then, you'll need deep pockets to perform a G-Class. No wonder it's described as alternative purchase to your supercar in a very rich person's dream garage. In case you're looking at one, choose Bentley's Bentayga, Porsche Cayenne or Range Rover for outright performance and polish, as well as a Toyota Land Cruiser for proper off-road grids. Mercedes-Benz G-Class, the hard choice. You just need to look at the perpendicular styling to grasp the G does things slightly differently. That bluff, upright styling makes his 4x4 stand out on the crowd as well as contributes to an exceptionally roomy cabin. Where the last generation G-Class was surprisingly cramped, the modern one is bigger in most key dimensions, so that it is roomy enough for two main full-sized adults in row of seats. With no third-row seating available, this car is often a five-seater. The boot is usually a decent size. However, remember there's a side-hinged tailgate that is very heavy on account of the full-sized spare wheel bolted to your door. Thankfully, the revolutionary G-Wagen incorporates a clever strut system which now props up tailgate open, to help you open it instead of worry perhaps it will slam shut on you within a gust of wind. Just one engine, the G63 AMG. Buyers considering a G-Class have a really simple list. There's only one engine designed for Brits, the most notable Dog G63 AMG model. That means a 4.0-litre bi-turbo V8 sending a dizzying 585 horsepower and 850 Nm of pulling ability to all four wheels. It is not time-consuming car. Performance must be felt for being believed. Few 4x4s can scurry from 0 to miles per hour in a mere 4.5 seconds. It's as quick as numerous Porsches, and there's an absolutely rich, baritone V8 soundtrack to accompany the warp-speed acceleration. The penalty is poor economy. Mercedes-Benz quotes just shy of 22 miles per gallon within the combined fuel efficiency cycle, but a much more realistic figure will probably plummet low in the teens. Visits towards the forecourt is going to be frequent and expensive. Low down how the G-Class drives. We detail the ride and handling, as well as its extraordinary off-road ability, in this detailed analysis lower down these pages. AMG G63 is incredibly powerful. 0.62 miles per hour in mere 4.5 seconds. One in the quickest SUVs discounted. The Mercedes-Benz G-Class performance is extraordinary for any car created to scale 45-degree inclines. Because only the AMG version is now being imported on the UK, scintillating acceleration is guaranteed. The G63 AMG musters an extraordinary 585 horsepower and 850 Nm from the twin-turbo V8. Combined with excellent traction in the standard four-wheel drive, it's enough to produce 062 miles per hour within 4.5 seconds, and top speed is pegged at 137 miles per hour. If you're feeling brave and live near a German autobahn, you may specify the optional AMG driver's package to boost the top speed to 149 miles per hour. All classes are automatic, without having manual transmission option. The 9-tronic auto box has 9 ratios and changes gear seamlessly. Most cogswaps slur away in private, and you are rarely aware in the process of shifting ratios. The Mercedes G-Class is unusual in having a low-range transfer box, only offered by low speeds. It says being a super-low gear calibrated for off-road use, which is great for extreme engine braking when descending a slope or extra grunt when climbing up steep hills. We'll discuss more off-road ability within the handling section below. Built to scale mountains. Exceptional off-road, but now good on-road too. Old Gwydians were somewhat of a mess dynamically. They may have been ace at off-roading and street-side posing, however they were not enjoyable cars they are driving. In fact, from time to time they were downright terrifying. Mercedes G-Class, on-road handling. The different one changes everything. At last, the Mercedes-Benz G-Class feels at home in every typical circumstances. It will not wander everywhere over the lanes on the motorway. The steering is accurate and you'll be able to place it precisely over a country lane, along with the ride is well judged, softening your road scars and acne usual for British roads. We can't recall a more substantial quantum leap from what went before. With the last car, you are forever making excuses and reminded of the car's military origins. With the revolutionary G-Class, that is don't necessary. It rides, handles and steers similar to any other modern Mercedes SUV, and now we say that like a compliment. The upright shape can make it very an easy task to place about the road. One with the best features about the G will be the pair of indicator repeaters that rise out with the bonnet like bubble wrap, clearly defining the outer edges from the set square design. A parking camera and sensors are standard, making slotting in a space essential. Mercedes G-Class, off-road performance. Of course, anyone considering a G-Class is likely to get attracted by its off-roading ability. Here, it scores extremely highly. It is unique in having 3 locking differentials and also low-range transfer case. The former have helped to prevent wheels spinning when on low-grip surfaces or dangling from the air, when you're properly off-road and tiptoeing over boulders, as the latter keeps you going whether or not you're scaling a single colon 1 or 45-degree incline. Let's get technical briefly. Mercedes quotes 241 mm of ground clearance for driving over rocky terrain. You may wade through 700 mm of water, as well as the G has impressive angles of ramp brake over 26 dg, approach 31 dg, departure 30 dg and side tilt 35 dg. Those figures is going to be largely meaningless to many people watchers. In case you do venture off-road in any way, they will state that the G-Class is well equipped whenever you veer off tarmac. Tested it with a tough mountainside course, determined it mind-bendingly capable. You can toggle the differential lock stand off while you're driving at speeds all the way to 30 miles per hour. Therefore we'd recommend getting instruction in the event you really fancy making the most on the Mercscone way ability. We found the auto's talents outshone each of our. Happily, all of that traction and grunt signifies that the Mercedes G-Class has impressive towing limits. A trailer, caravan or boat all the way to 3.5 tons might be towed in complete safety in the event the trailer is braked, or 750 kilograms on a much more typical, unbraked trailer. All seasons tires are standard fit. A fixed tow bar is standard on every registered model, and also the ESP stability system even has a program created to stop trailers from snaking, which is usually a welcome comfort blanket to individuals likely to carry heavy loads regularly. Mercedes Dynamic Select. Dynamic Select is really a drive mode selector, allowing you to pick between comfort, sport, eco and individual. Flicking from the modes means you are able to set up the automobile's throttle, engine, transmission and suspension settings to produce a sportier drive or relax everything to your more laid-back gait. It works well and changes the character in the car noticeably. It is possible to also set your individual preferences within the individual toggle, which is usually a neat touch. A slick, modern interior. Much more space now. Digital dials, connectivity. Climb up to the G-Class interior. It really is usually a climb for many individuals, and you're greeted by the cabin that feels considerably more in sync to modern Mercedes-Benz cars. In fact, you'd be forgiven for thinking they'd taken an A-Class cockpit and dumped it straight in. This is really a major departure with the G-Wagen. Earlier iterations which have always experienced a rather archaic, backward vibe inside. No more. Most noticeable would be the twin 12.3 inches digital screens that dominate the dashboard, replacing the conventional instruments and running the digital heart with the infotainment system. It shows that many in the features we've become utilized on bigger Mercedes-Benz cars are available for the G. So when you delve into enough sub-menus, it is possible to play while using presentation of screens and flick between classic, sporty or progressive digital dials, and there's a heap more personalization available. Thumb pads around the steering wheel let drivers flick through menus within the move. It takes somewhat getting used to, but it's only one way of operating the command system. You'll be able to also rely for the rotary controller within the central armrest, use voice control or physical hard buttons where available. It won't get you long to master your way around, while it can sometimes be a bit fiddly. Each manufacturer's infotainment system works slightly differently, therefore we reckon the Mercedes-Benz command setup is logical and straightforward to navigate your path around. The physical attributes on the G-Class cabin impress, too. This is usually a well-made interior along with a choice of materials and build quality generally feel worthy on the lofty prices charged. The G63's cabin is swathed in high-quality leather, therefore we love the mechanical rifle bolt latching sound once you thunk the doors shut. You feel like you're ensconced from the Bank of England vaults if the door closes. The elevated driving position is a useful one, too. We found the plethora of seat and controls adjustment fine to adapt into a range of body sizes. The chances are that you can get comfortable easily and, as we've noted elsewhere, there is undoubtedly an excellent view out. You really do employ a lofty vantage point, watching out over other traffic. Classy ambience throughout. Pick small wheels for maxi comfort. Seats are incredibly pampering. In line with all the huge strides made inside rest on the G-Class package, refinement and comfort are noticeably improved on the brand new model launching in 2018. Where the last G-Wagen would bounce and pogo down a road, the brand new one flows with much greater poise. This is generally down on the mechanical improvements. The brand new suspension is far more biased towards on-road comfort compared to off-road setup of earlier models. Bumps and lumps inside tarmac are smothered with the chassis, and surely the 2 main 6-ton curb weight must help here, and the body movements are controlled. The seats fitted on the G-Class are impressively comfortable and hold you in position during high-speed driving or off-roading. The stubby grab handle sprouting through the dashboard in front in the passenger seat is often a nice touch and genuinely useful when climbing in. Both rows are heated, and buyers wanting the best in seating comfort can pick the optional massaging active multi-contour seat for most serious spinal pampering. Mercedes G-Class drive modes. Newly fitted replacement windows has dramatically boosted refinement, along with the engine noise from that vocal V8 is well found in typical day-to-day driving. Only if the car is at sports mode does the exhaust spark up a soundtrack akin towards the rumble you'd typically hear with an American drag race strip. Inevitably there's some wind rustle as being a result in the brick-like aerodynamics. This is definitely an extraordinarily upright car, and also the drag coefficient of 0.54 makes this one of the least slippery shapes for cleaving the environment, for the detriment of wind noise and efficiency. At motorway speeds, you really have to boost your voice just a little to counter wind noise. A well-equipped, luxurious car. Only one spec easily obtainable in UK. Top Dog G63 AMG comes loaded. The G-Class standard spec is generous, since you should expect a VIN car costing well into six figures. Standard Mercedes-Benz G-Class equipment. The following features are typically standard fit. Heated electric front seats. 3-zone climate control. Twin 12.3-inch digital screens. Choice of 64 colors for ambient lighting. Burmester multi-channel audio stereo. 20-inch alloy wheels. Parktronic 360-degree parking camera. LED headlamps with auto dip. Electric sunroof. Smartphone integration with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Adaptive cruise control. Tow bar. That lot comes bundled from the regular G63 AMG trim. Mercedes-Benz G-Class, optional extras. If that lavish equipment level isn't sufficient for you, you may also spec several options packs. AMG Night Package. To personalize your G63 further, Mercedes-Benz will sell you the AMG Night Package, which swells the alloy wheel size to 21 inches in diameter. You may even trade approximately 22 inches rims when you really need to strut your stuff. Take note that smaller rims is going to be better when you prioritize ride comfort or would like to head off-road. This styling pack also smokes the outdoors chrome detailing in obsidian black, to get a more menacing stance. Winter Package. If you live inside the countryside and require a rapid frost option, the Mercedes G-Class Winter Package sounds as being a smart buy. This features a heated windscreen along with an auxiliary heater, which is usually programmed remotely to heat up the cabin prior to seat off. Both useful features to avoid wasting frosty fingers and bums with a cold winter's morning. G-Class aspects first strut. One with the safest 4x4s on discount sales. Not yet Euro NCAP tested. The Mercedes-Benz G-Class can be a strong, robust car, and though it has yet been independently tested by Euro NCAP, this can be one with the sturdiest cars where you can have an accident. There's a lot of equipment directed at making sure a collision doesn't happen from the first place. Much on the electronic architecture you'll find while on an E-Class or S-Class is transferred over towards the G-Wagen, so you can find watchful digital eyes monitoring traffic flow who are around you, and this car will intervene when it senses an effect is likely. Electronic stability control is sophisticated enough to manage skids and slides, while radar and cameras make you stay driving as part of your lane, remind you of speed limits ahead and spot pedestrians or animals ahead, warning if they're on the verge of step into your journey, as well as braking automatically in the event you fail to react on time. The Mercedes-Benz G-Class safety factors are boosted inside UK by standard fitment in the driving assistance package, a choice in mainland Europe. It bundles in radar-controlled cruise control, which keeps the auto a set distance from your vehicle before, so that you can drive in convoy without having to manage the pedals. This system now works in stop-start traffic, using Sting beyond jams and roadworks. How many ISOFIX car seats can I fit in the Mercedes-Benz G-Class 4x4? A set of 2 ISOFIX attachments about the 2 outer rear seats means you may easily attach some child seats within the back of any G-Class. Big, wide opening doors along with the car's unusual height make sure that fitting them is painless. It's quite liberating without needing to bend as a result of all of the rigmarole of strapping your kids into their car seats. G-Class cabin more spacious. Plenty of space for individuals. Boot reasonable, yet not huge. The new Mercedes G-Class is longer, wider and taller than its predecessor, liberating more space for passengers. This is great news, since the outgoing G was embarrassingly cramped for this type of large car. Extra elbow room is particularly noticeable, along with the front seat backs are already sculpted for making extra space for rear passengers. You can comfortably sit 4 full-sized adults within a G-Class, and due to an unusually low transmission tunnel and other benefit from the ladder frame chassis, you'll be able to realistically accommodate a 5th passenger inside rear middle seat. A range of storage cubbies, cup holders and compartments takes care of the ephemera of recent life, including keys, phones and wallets. A ski hatch enables you to carry long items inside car without recourse to your roof rack, and also in it from the boot holds assorted items. There's a large benefit towards the perpendicular, set square styling here. The Mercedes G-Class is surprisingly very easy to place within the road and park, as visibility is fantastic. Parking assist is standard for this off-roader, helping maneuvering with a selection of ultrasonic sensors to produce sonar-like beeping, while a 360-degree, panoramic reversing camera assists when creeping backwards. The new steering setup around the G-Wagen means it is going to steer to a space automatically your command, the wheels spinning eerily between fingers. These tools reduce the worry factor when parking what remains a huge, unwieldy SUV. The G-Wagen's tailgate is definitely side-hinged, like within the Toyota Land Cruiser or Land Rover Defender. This can make opening the boot just a little tricky, along with the door can be quite heavy. Blame the standard fit, full-sized spare wheel bolted on. Thankfully, the gas strut is currently intelligent enough to lock the tailgate constantly in place no matter how spacious it is, so you're able to open it without worrying that it'll blow in a parked car, or trap your fingers. Once open, the boot size itself looks slightly disappointing initially. What appear like wide wheelages pinch the lowered be noticeably on each side, leaving a narrow boot space for one's bags or dog. In fact, the subwoofer with the stereo is responsible for that intrusion within the left-hand side, even though the right-hand lump gobbling the luggage space was in fact the fuel tank. What remains is really a square-ish 454 litres, not very much better than you'd get inside a family hatchback that figures swells to 667 litres should you pack on the roofline, or 1,941 with all the seats folded. The rear seats do split inside a 60 hours 40 minutes pattern, enabling you to carry longer loads. Just be warned, which the G-Class's heavy-duty off-roader construction implies that the rear seats don't fold entirely flat.